Hi there, welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. We're continuing the long ones and today it's 75 minutes. How are we going to do it? Well, it's going to be a relatively simple one again. We're going to break it down into 5-minute chunks and we're going to do the first at 18 strokes per minute at around about 2k plus 20 to 22. Then we're going to go up to 20 strokes a minute at round about 2k plus 18 to 20. And then we're going to go up to 24 strokes a minute at round about 2k plus 12 to 14. And then we're just going to repeat that and basically do that cycle a total of 5 times. Now what end you set on that pace guide is really down to what kind of a session you're looking for today. If you're looking for just an easier bottom tier grind, then set on the slower side of each of those training paces. If you're looking for something that will push you, prepare you for a 60-minute time trial or a half hour or even a 10k, then maybe you want to set on the faster end of these pace guides. But remember, each time you go back to the 18 strokes a minute, if you want to reassess your pace guide and think, do I want to be easing off here because I'm actually getting really quite exhausted and I don't think I can make it to the end, or you think actually I've been taking this a bit too easy, maybe I want to go a little bit faster. Each time you get to that 18 strokes a minute, just have a quick think about where you are. Remember, the point of today is to get you through that full 75-minute row so that you don't be so exhausted halfway through that you have to stop. Okay, so you want to get to the end. That said, if you have to stop to have a drink of water because you're feeling dehydrated, or if you have to quickly just stretch your backside off because 75 minutes on a row machine is quite a long time, then by all means do, okay? There's no awards, no heroics for getting to the end of this and suffering your way through it. Any suffering should be from the amount of effort you put into the machine, not from being dehydrated and shriveled up or from having like a sore backside from sitting down. Okay, so let's get into our 4-minute warm-up. Yep, we're still doing that, still doing the 4-minute warm-up, even though we've got a 75-minute row ahead of us. So we start off by setting up your drag factor. If you don't know anything about drag factor, then please check out the video on the YouTube channel where I talk about what it is and give you some suggestions where you might want to put it. Next up, go to the monitor and set it at eye height. If you've got a little Lego character, make sure he's peeking over the top. There we go. Eye height means you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down, and strapping a Lego character across the top with a wee head poking up the top gives me something to focus on to keep my head up and kind of primed. Trust me, from a posture point of view, it helps. And then finally, the foot straps, make sure they cover either the bottom lace on your shoe, or if you're in socks like me, they just let you bend comfortably or hinge comfortably forward at the front. Nice Christmas blue new socks, eh? Whoa, none of my scabby black ones anymore. Right, so a 4-minute warm-up, start at 18 strokes a minute at a nice gentle pace, okay? In 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. So when I say gentle pace, I mean gentle pace. I want you just to get your body moving. Let it know that you're about to do some rowing. Really don't worry about what you're seeing on the monitor. It could be that you've just come into a freezing cold studio, like me today, and you're needing to just get the heart pumping a little bit, get the muscles firing. Again, I mean, don't particularly need to do this 4-minute warm-up before 75-minute row, but I want to make sure that you can hit the pace guides right from the start and not have to ease into it. So that's why we're still doing this warm-up. And it also just gives us a chance to go through the single leg drill and the arms only and legs only drill. Right, we're in the 2nd minute of the warm-up, so just make sure you've got straight arms as you drive out from the front, and have a wee think about your back leaning into that 1 o'clock position at the front, and then finishing in a nice 11 o'clock comfortable, powerful position here. Not too far back and also not all slumped and rounded. Okay, in 3 more strokes, we'll take a foot out the straps. 1 more. There we go. Take 1 foot out, put it on the ground. Continue rowing with just 1 foot strapped in. Don't have to worry about pace. Make sure you're putting a good solid shove from the leg that's still in there. You'll probably find it's a much more even spread of that push from your leg when there's only one in. Okay, change feet and continue. Should also help with your compression at the front. Just having one leg needing to bend from a flexibility point of view. But make sure you don't over compress or overreach at the front, because you're able to. Okay, both feet in, legs straight, just roll with your back and arms. So swing over your hips, pull in your arms, and then out with the arms, and then roll over your hips, and repeat. So nothing's coming from your legs. It's all about just generating power with your backswing first, and then pulling in with your arms to finish. It's important timing that. Okay, so the reverse, arms straight, and then just drive out with the legs. Keep that body leaning forwards, and then just push out with the legs. You don't have to worry about a full drive. All you need to worry about is just that little push from the front. Connect with the flywheel. Okay, 3 more. 1, 2, last one, 3. There we go. So not the most intense warm-up in the world, but you should feel just that little bit more eased off, ready to go for today's main session. So continue moving up and in the rail, have a quick drink, and I'll quickly go over it one more time what we're doing today. Okay, so today's workout is a 75-minute row. Feel free to plug it into your monitor as 75 minutes and then set the splits to 5 minutes. And then this way we'll get to see how we get on as we go through each of the stroke rate intervals. Because we're doing the first one at 18 strokes a minute, then we're going to go up to 20, then up to 24, and then back down to 18, 20, 24, 18, 20, 24, and you're going to do 5 sets of those 3, okay? Pace-wise, the 18 strokes is going to be at 2k plus 20 to 22, the 20 strokes is going to be at 2k plus 18 to 20, and the 24 strokes is going to be at 2k plus 12 to 14. And you can pick what end of that you want to be on depending on how intense you want to be doing that part of the row. It's a good idea to pick one and stick with it the whole time, but like I say, if you need to just reassess at certain points in the row just to make sure you can complete it, then do so, because it's more important that you get through this 75-minute row, okay? So that's pretty much it. Make sure and have a last drink, assuming you're not going to have to stop halfway. Not too big a drink though. You don't want to have to stop halfway because you need to pee. That'd be embarrassing. Oh, it's always strange seeing 1 hour 15 on the monitor. You think, oh, this is going to take a while. But trust me, because we're breaking this down into 5-minute chunks, this should fly by. So the first one is at 18 strokes a minute, and your pace will be 2k plus 20 to 22. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right, so follow me for stroke rate, whether it's by watching on the YouTube videos or whether it's listening to the podcasts and just hearing the whoosh of my flywheel every time I take a stroke. But also you can tell most of the time my speech pattern is kind of based around the stroke rate I'm at. I'll tend to stop right before taking an actual stroke. So let's just spend the first 5 minutes getting used to things. I'm not going to start hitting you with technique tips and stuff yet. Want to make sure you're fully comfortable, that you're up to pace, you've got your stroke ground in, so that then when we start to think a little bit harder about what you're doing with your stroke, you're actually kind of doing your natural one instead of a slightly cool or just not quite your real stroke. I can already feel that I'm doing my over lean at the front. Now today, eagle-eyed viewers may spot that I'm rowing without my fancy seat pad. I had the Citius Remix P-Row. Had that for the, I don't know, past 4 months or so. Can't remember when I got it. And I was thinking about whether it's good for me or not. I mean, part of the reasons I row in socks is that I don't want to have to rely on a special piece of kit in order to be able to row well. So what I don't want to do is when the world reopens again and we can train in gyms again and compete around the world, I don't want to have to always think that if I don't have my super cool seat pad, there's no way I can perform. So I just wanted to try today's, especially because it's a long row, it's 75 minutes. So I wanted to try it without, see how it feels. So I mean, I've been rowing for like 6 years, like concentrated 6 years without one. I never really felt the need to buy one. It's only when the offer came up and it was too good a price to turn down that I thought I'd give it a go. I mean, I'm certainly not going any slower without it. So it really comes down to comfort. And then viewing this video back later to see if anything weird is happening with my technique when I'm not on it. Right, so 6 more strokes to go, and then we'll creep up to 20 strokes a minute and 2K plus 18 to 20. One more. Here we go. 20 strokes a minute. 1 stroke every 3 seconds. Not too fast. Try not to race up your stroke rate to 22, 24. It's only a slight increase in pressure from your legs, which means your drive is quicker and you're putting in a little bit more power into the stroke, both of which should see you going at the right stroke rate and a couple of seconds faster on your monitor. So let's do a big stroke overview. Let's not go in deep. I'll just discuss the positions And then you can check off how you think you're getting on as I talk about it. As always, it does help to have a mirror in front of you, or if you film your sessions, you can then come back and watch them afterwards, but a mirror is more instant. So let's start off with your back. Mentioned it in the warm-up anyway, so shouldn't be too much of a surprise to hear that your back should be leaning in to a 1 o'clock position at the front of the machine, and then at the back you want to be at a 11 o'clock position on the clock face. Try not to go deeper than that on either side. It's almost to a point that you don't think about leaning. You just let your body position kind of naturally fall between the two angles. But a lot of that needs good posture and stuff, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Not afterwards, but after this overview. So your back goes from 1 at the front to 11 at the back. Your arms, you want to be straight at the front of the machine, and as you drive, and you only pull in and finish with your arms, almost when the stroke is done. So your legs are about 3/4 of the way down, and only then do you bend your elbows to pull in your arms. And then once you finish, you get them back out to straight again as quickly as possible. Legs at the front of the machine, you want your shins to point vertically. So that's how far forwards to slide. Try and keep your knees inside your arms rather than bowing outwards. And then take a full leg drive, getting the legs down at the back. 2 more strokes, then we're up to 24. Here we go. 2K plus 12 to 14. See, they're all quite nice, simple transitions between each stroke rate. Obviously, you're jumping 4 strokes per minute as you go from 20 to 24, and you're also jumping about 6 seconds in pace. But that's okay, this is the antidote to the 18 and 20s, which can feel quite low rate and slow. Whereas now you're at much more even rhythm. You don't really need to feel like you're slowing yourself down, but still slow enough that you're able to kind of focus on individual components of your stroke. Maybe going a bit too fast to be able to think about all the stages of the stroke, but to be honest, that can be a bit overwhelming anyway. It's much easier to pick a body part to concentrate on, either through the whole range of the stroke, or even better, at just one part of it. So if you take your arms and then just think about the catch, which is here, right before the drive, is the position, your kind of set up position. So you want your arms straight, relaxed, shoulders loose, fingers hooking over the handle. Nice open gesture with your hands rather than gripping the life out of the handle. And that gives you maximum length and allows maximum power to transfer through your arms into the handle. But that happens at the drive phase, where you still keep your arms straight. Maybe, if you want, put in a little external rotation of your elbows to help focus on keeping them straight. But then, as you drive with the legs, keep them straight. You'll have to kind of brace, tense up a little bit against the force coming through your body, but you're still not grabbing, you're just hanging on to the handle. Then, like I said, only towards the back of the stroke do you finally bend your elbows and pull the handle in. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down to 18. And that has taken us under an hour to go. It's our first set all done. And hopefully you'll have got a good sense from those 3 sets of 5 minutes how you're going to fare through the course of this row. Have you judged the pace wisely? Have you gone off too fast? Don't worry if you think you might have gone too slow, unless you're completely fresh and not even slightly out of breath. You should be okay to just continue at this pace. Maybe if you still feel like this, when there's half an hour to go, you could increase the pace, but trust me, when there's still almost an hour left, it can be a little bit deceiving at this stage if you feel like this is a easy row. It's meant to be paced that way if you're on the bottom end of the pace guide, that certainly the first 2 sets of 5 minutes should feel nice and easy, and then it's just the duration of the row as you get closer to the full 75 minutes. It starts to take its toll. But do be sure to hit the right paces. Don't ease off out of either boredom or getting distracted or whatever. Try and, especially if you're feeling fresh, just go through the same 3 pace guides you did the last time round. Depends on when you're doing this as well. I mean, I'm doing this the day after Boxing Day, Christmas 2020, and I think I've still got half a turkey and 400 sprouts rolling around my stomach. That's all right. We have 3 days really where just take my foot off the brake and just say, let's just eat some nice food before starting to think about proper nutrition again. I'm sure if I was an elite sportsman, I'd care a bit more, but there's a certain balance of your mental reward where if you can take a couple of days off and just enjoy good food with good company, then that can be mentally quite valuable. For some, it can be the opposite. It can actually be quite destructive in terms of feeling like you've failed yourself. But like I say, unless I was an elite sportsman or a cover model or whatever, I think I can have a couple of days with a massive calorie surplus, especially when I'm rowing these sessions. Right, 2 strokes, last one. Then we're back up to 20 strokes a minute. Here we go. 2K plus 18 to 20. So, I spoke about the drive phase with your arms. So nice and straight, drive, finish. Next up is the release. So the handle comes in to your chest, around about sternum height. Squeeze those shoulder blades tight. And then the pace you brought the handle in at, send it back out at, into straight arms again. Don't be lazy with the straight arms. Don't kind of ease and then at the ends go straight. Because you want to use your arms straight is the trigger for your return of your whole body, and to make sure you're in the right position for the start of the next stroke. And again, nice neutral height to the handle on that return. You'll see on the water rowers will tend to tap down and then lift up. Now, it's up to you if you want to do that, but what it can cause is a slump in your posture and a backswing happening too quick. Again, both of which I'll come to, but if you just have the handle in a relatively straight plane backwards and forwards, you don't have to worry about posture issues. And again, I'll quickly mention that you will see some people finishing with the handle a lot higher, okay? They'll finish almost up at the throat in the search for a little bit extra length of the drive. Now, I'm not going to say that doesn't work, because it does, but what I will say is that you need to be very strong to be able to take the shift in muscle stress, not only from that higher finish, which puts it onto your forearms and biceps, but as it's usually accompanied with a much deeper layback, the extra force that you then send through your lower back is huge. So, if that's how you row, please pay attention to your body. And if anything starts to niggle, just be very, very careful. You don't want to pull a muscle or damage your lower back. Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up to 24. 2K plus 12 to 14. You will encounter a few weird quirks from people, especially actual specific indoor rower and specialists who will do things based on trying to squeeze all the power they can from the machine. But like I say, these people are usually really, really strong and able to take the stresses on their body, or they've just adapted to the strange quirk and make it work for them. A good one to discuss here is the seat slide and your shins. So the ideal position is that you slide forward far enough that your shins are pointing vertically. Now, you certainly don't want to fall short of that because you're robbing yourself of leg drive. But some people will kind of hyper compress and go right past it. Like really coiled up, over compressed spring. Most rowers will say that's a no-no, including me, because of the potential for power leaks where you don't quite connect your feet and arms in unison with the flywheel because you're over compressed. Your butt kind of scoots out before the rest of you, which isn't very useful. But there are some people who will get into that real over proper shins way past, and they'll get the timing spot on. Could be to do with the length of their arms or something else, but they'll be able to just squeeze 1 or 2 seconds out of the machine that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get. There isn't really an issue with injury. You could maybe hyperextend some muscles and tendons, but it's not like the back of the stroke where leaning back too far can damage your lower back. It's more about trying to guard against power leaks in your stroke by not over compressing. It changes the angle of force from your feet and things. Remember, the point is that as you drive with your legs, you hang off the handle. And if you've over compressed and have to bend your arms because you've come so far forwards, you're not going to be able to hang off the handle. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to 18s. And 2K plus 20 to 22. I'm still sitting right on the bottom end of this. Partly because, like I said, I still feel I've got Christmas dinner bumbling around my stomach. But also, it is kind of the only way I can row and talk to you at the same time, especially for these longer rows. But going back to the mental thing, you need to, unless you are training to be the best, unless you're really going for peak fitness, either because you are the best or you actually see the top in sight and know what it's going to take. Unless you're in that position, you can take more of an overview approach. Give yourself these peaks and troughs when you really focus on training and nutrition and your outcomes, but then at other times for short bubbles, you just ease off and say, you know what, I'm gonna have some fun for a couple of days, give myself a reason to train and be happy rather than beating yourself into submission. And I mean, that's what I did from about, I don't know, age of 40 to 42, maybe the back half of being 39, as I approached the 40 to 49 age category and thought, you know what, I'm quite fast, I could win some of these. So I then spent the next 2 years really focusing on training, nutrition, to make sure I was constantly lightweight, and then making sure I was taking in the right nutrients and things, and then training hard. But then, unless you're getting some real tangible results from that, you don't really go on so long. So it worked. I won lots of gold medals, got silver at the British Championships, which, as being as racing Tim Mail, who got first, I was never going to get a gold in that one. But then it just started to get too much of a chore, so I eased off a bit and found I was still winning, but I was just a lot happier because I wasn't in this real agitated state every time I saw cake, or every time I was invited out for dinner. I'd get into a bit of a worry about what am I going to have? How am I going to have the conversation about I don't drink and things? So there's definitely something you need to assess for where you are mentally. Hang on. 4 more strokes. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, up to 20. At 2k plus 18 to 20. I think I went too fast. There we go. But then you also look at photos and things over the years, and you can see those peaks and troughs. I mean, I've just been scanning in a whole bunch of family photos. I can see those ones back in 2002 when I was up at almost 17 stone. Big fella. But rather than looking at that and thinking, sheesh, look at me, what it does is it triggers off just these success endorphins, because I worked hard, and I managed to lose like, it was nearly 20 kilograms, I think. Whatever 5 stone is. Hang on, that's 5 stone is 70 pounds, is that right? It's nearly 30 kilograms. Doing maths again. Anyway, and so every time I do have a little bit of a hiccup, be it through injury or just stupidity, I look back to those memories and know that I'm more than capable of training to get back to that again. It's got to be said, it also does make me think, I know how much hard work it was still, so I'd really rather not have to go through that again. Which is why I'll ease off the gas for 2 or 3 days over Christmas. But I won't always eat cake and stuff. I mean, I even had a McDonald's with the kids yesterday. They get one a year on Boxing Day. I know, I'm a mean dad. But I think we'll all agree that nutritionally, you don't get much out of McDonald's. Anyway, sorry, massive diversion, but I just think at this part of the year when maybe a few of you have also indulged over Christmas, just because you have doesn't mean you suddenly lost your ability to be sensible, train hard, and undo what you've just done. Or maybe you've just made a New Year's resolution to be healthier, get back on the rowing machine, get fit, lose weight, and you've stumbled upon this video or podcast and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do this. Trust me, you can. But it's about setting small goals, a day in front even, a week, no longer than a month, and making sure to try to hit them. Okay, 4 strokes. 3, 2, one more. 1, up to 24s. Because if you set, I mean, let's go back to me. If I'd have sat down and said, right, I'm clearly overweight, I need to lose 5 stone in order to be what I want to be. I think not much came off in the first month. I think I'd have been comparing those 4 or 5 pounds with the 70 I was aiming to lose, and it would have completely demotivated me. I would have thought, hang on, this is going to take years. Whereas, all I did was looked at my fitness goals. Was I able to cycle longer or faster? How did it feel from a perceived effort point of view? I don't think I've properly weighed myself for about 6 months into my journey. And even then I think it was only because we were going on holiday and I was weighing the luggage, and so I had to know what I was so I could hold the suitcase and then weigh myself and then subtract my own weight. So all I'm saying is set yourself a macro goal by all means, but don't let that be your focus. Whether it's performance, you want to get faster at 2K, whether it's weight loss, whether it's trying to drop a couple of jean sizes or grow your biceps, whatever. Take it bit by bit, and you're more likely to stick with it. And just don't let anytime you don't hit your goal, don't let it derail you. Because you'll only have a day or a week to go to try again and try and hit that goal the next time. And hopefully, if you were a bit unhappy at not hitting your micro goal, you'll make more of an effort the next time round. Let it inspire you instead of destroy you. Which, if you'd spent a year doing something and then had one big test and it didn't go well, probably would destroy you. That's a good thing about rowing and training in a varied way, is that you've got this monitor right in front of you, constantly telling you, stroke by stroke, whether your efforts are being rewarded or not. Not going fast enough? Push harder with your legs and watch the pace drop. Success. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 18s. So that's a third of our sets done. Only got 2 more to go. Just half an hour's worth of rowing now. Time flew by. So your 18s are the chance to just slow everything down, recover from the 20s and 24s, and also gives you time to focus on your body positions during the stroke. Now remember, sometimes the temptation at these low stroke rates is that in order to keep the rate low, you pause. Okay, so you'll see some people, they'll drive and pause, and then they'll race forwards. Now, that's not the point. You want there to always be a flow and a rhythm to your stroke. No matter what stroke rate you're at. So you're constantly moving. That handle comes into your chest and then you send it away, and that initiates a nice, comfortable, controlled rock over your hips. Because at 18 strokes a minute, the ratio is still 1 to 2. So 1 drive, 2 recover. So a nice powerful drive back, and then a nice slow, gentle recovery. It's almost like 1 second and then 1 second. It's all about rhythm and flow and moving from one phase to another. It's not about jerking and racing and falling and It's about smooth drive out. Push the machine away with your legs. If you have to get your heels up in order to get your shins to vertical, then make sure that when you start your drive phase, you slam those heels into the foot plate to help you push the machine away. And when you're hanging off the handle with a forward lean, straight arms, and you push with your legs, that's how the power just surges into the machine. It's not about stabbing with your legs. It's not about grabbing with your arms. It's about surging from a big leg drive. But this is when we come to posture. That hang and the power transfer and me being okay with your heels coming up only counts if you're sitting up on your sit bones at the front of the machine with a powerful braced posture ready for the next stroke. Let's count this down. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 20 strokes a minute. You know what? Quick diversion here. We're now 50 minutes in to this row. And apart from a period about 6 minutes into the row where I thought I might have made a mistake, I'm really not missing my seat pad at all. I don't know if I'll go back to it, to be honest. I might do a quick test, like how hard can I push at 24 strokes a minute with and without, just to see if there's any pace loss, but there's certainly no comfort loss in not being on the seat pad. So anyway, so the one thing the seat pad, especially the one I was using, did do was it did kind of help with posture. in that because of the holes that are cut into it and the little lump at the front, if you slumped and rolled your hips back like kind of that, it'd be very uncomfortable on that seat. So there is that, but I don't really want to have to rely on an artificial piece of apparatus, because like I say, what happens when I go to a gym and I don't have my trusty seat pad? So anyway, posture. To the front of the stroke, at the catch, you want to be up on your sit bones, so leaning forwards, not hips under and craning forwards. So hips tilted forwards, body leaning in, but you also want to be, like I say, a nice powerful back, not bolt upright. You're not a plank of wood, but braced, powerful, engaged, basically ready to take that power from your legs and hang off the handle. Your core should engage at that point of the drive as well. Abs and your back too. And then you hold that forward lean as you drive. Sand on those ankles. And then halfway through the leg drive, you maintain that nice powerful posture, but swing over your hips into that 11 o'clock position. It can help to focus on bracing your core more at the end to keep everything engaged and powerful. And then when your handle comes away, all you have to do is rock over your hips and you're instantly in the right position for the next stroke. Whereas if you finish all slumped, you suddenly have to manufacture something to return. Okay, 2 more strokes. 1 more. Squat to 24s. And that good posture up in your sit bones. This is what I was saying about the heels up. If you're on your sit bones, nice and powerful, and in order to get your shins to vertical, your heels have to come up slightly. That's fine. But if your hips are rotated backwards, and then the only way to do it to get your shins vertical is to really lift your heels because your posture's poor, then no, I do not allow that. You want to be powerful posture. Forward lean. Straight arms. Like I say, hanging off the handle. It's again, It's really down to two main things of energy transfer and injury prevention. Obviously, you don't want to get injured. So if you have your hips rolled back and are suddenly taking the whole stroke through your lower back rather than letting it surge up into your arms, eventually you end up with a damaged lower back, which is also why you keep that forward lean as you drive with the legs. So forward lean drive, you only swing halfway through the stroke, and that makes sure the power goes up through your back and into your arms, whereas if you lean back too soon, you're suddenly taking it all in your lower back, and you're leaking an extraordinary amount of available power that could be going into the machine. There's loads of ways to leak power. I mean, discuss the butt scoot when you don't connect with the flywheel with your legs, and so your butt goes back and you lose a whole bunch of distance from your leg drive, and you also don't get that snap into the flywheel. Or the opposite is when you grab with your arms at the front too quick, and then your legs are an afterthought. Huge power leak, plus really big chance to damage your forearms and biceps and shoulders. And then, like I said, swinging your back too early is another one where you're missing the entire amount of power that you could get from your back swinging. So when I go swing, 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 that's swinging my back. It's just putting loads of extra power into the stroke. Well, I say loads. It's me, so not much. All right, 2, 1, 18s. 2K plus 18, sorry, plus 20 to 22. Our last one. Only got 15 minutes to go. So that's us completed the hour. Have a quick look at what the meters are saying. So probably take off about 150 meters because we're 30 seconds into this. And just go, all right, so I covered X thousand meters in that hour. You should be proud of getting that far, especially if this isn't the kind of row you normally do. If you tend to stick to half-hour rows or like 4 times 10 minutes, then rowing however many 1,000 meters in an hour, you should be really, really happy with yourself. And you'll probably add another 3,000 or so by the time this row is finished. And so you can decide, do you want to push the last two a little bit faster? So increase the speed for the 20 strokes a minute if you're wanting to train for pace, and also increase the 24s too. Or if you're just trying to keep this as a low heart rate bottom tier session, just continue at the best pace for you. Hopefully you've not had to back off from the 2K plus 22 though. That'd be disappointing if you're like 2K plus 30 or something right now in order to complete, especially for these 18s. Like I say, this is the time where you can just ease back to a more comfortable pace. Maybe I shouldn't have said disappointing. Feel bad if you have had to back off a lot. You need to bear in mind, we have been at this for an hour. So just quickly, one last thing technique wise for posture, and that's just warning against yanking your feet off the foot straps. So you'll see quite a lot of people will drive and then really yank themselves forwards using the foot straps. But what that does is it instantly sends your hips backwards and puts you in that terrible posture. So what you want to do is drive your legs, get them finished, then your back and your arms follow very soon after. But all the momentum from your legs has gone into the machine, so you don't have to stop yourself off the foot straps. You just use your core to soak up any last momentum. And then with your powerful posture, just getting your arms away and rocking over your hips is enough to get you forwards to then bend your knees for the return. So you don't have to yank against the foot straps. Okay, 3, 2, last one coming up. 1, up to 20 strokes a minute for the last time. 2K plus 18 to 20. And the easiest way to learn not to yank on the foot straps is actually just to take your feet out of the foot straps, which I'll do just to show. Don't do it now because you're mid-row, but there you go. So both my feet are out, yet I'm not falling off the back of the machine, nor am I stuck at the back, unable to come forwards. And that's because the leg drive is all done before my body and arms, and then with the good posture, the return of my arms and the swing with my back is all I need for the return. Once the handle gets past my knees, I just bend my knees and roll easily to the front of the machine, ready for the next stroke. So it's a good tip, and what I suggest is instead of taking your feet completely out of the straps, just loosen them right off so that your feet are still inside the straps, just in case you get it wrong and do go flying off the back. If the straps are still hovering like an inch above your shoes, you can quickly catch yourself, but they're not so tight and secure against your feet that you just get lazy and start using them again. Whew. 7.5 minutes to go. It's definitely been a good row to do post Christmas lunch. I mean, I did on Christmas Day and on Boxing Day. I went on a bike ride on the Zwift, but actually I was too lazy to set the row machine back up again after recording the 70-minute row at Mum's house. So it wasn't even here for me to row on to have a Christmas Day row. But again, sometimes just taking 1 or 2 days away from it and not beating yourself up about it is very valuable. Especially if you start to feel like it's something you have to do rather than something you want to do. You always want to make sure that this is a training regime you look forward to doing. It's like, wow, I get to row today. Okay, a minute to go on this 20. And I'm going to put my feet back in the straps because I want to make sure and perform well on the 24s, and 24 is the last of the stroke rates that I can manage with my feet out the straps. So I don't want to sacrifice performance for balance. I'm okay at 18, 20 and 22, but 24 it starts to get a little bit sketchy. All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Last 5 minutes. 24 strokes a minute, 2K, plus 12 to 14. And then we'll do a quick cool down and then send you on your merry way. Be sure on these longer rows, make sure and stretch afterwards. I mean, 75 minutes, say an average of 20 strokes a minute. That's what, 15, hang on, 15, it's not 1500, is it? Is it 1500 strokes? Nah, it's got to be more than that. 15,000? No. Oh, I'm trying to do maths again. That's not. It's a lot of strokes. It's a lot of strokes. Maybe it is 1500. 100 strokes. It's 1,000 meters. Yeah, maybe around about. So that's a lot of pushes with your legs, pulls with your arms, a lot of rolling over your glutes. So make sure and stretch off your arms, your quads, your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your glutes. Because you don't want to seize up. We've still got 3 more of these to go. Still got to do 80, 85, and 90. We'll stop at 90. Because otherwise, when would I stop? Certainly been the right time of year to be doing these longer rows. When, like I say, calorie intake can be a little bit higher, so burning another 500 calories or so more than normal on the machine can only be a good thing. But also, if you are stressing your body a little bit with the eating and drinking, you don't really want to be overstressing it with sprints and high intensity stuff. Funny because I might have a lot of rich food in your stomach that might not enjoy that. Anyway. And then the new year, get back to something more structured and fast. Still is a weird year though, with all the races being online instead of actually in real places. It's hard to know what to train for. Less than a minute to go. Hope you managed to finish strong. I hope it's flown by for you as quick as it has for me. This is certainly doesn't feel like 75 minutes ago that we started together. Alrighty then, count down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Hopefully your fingers aren't sore. It's not a reason to hook onto the handle with like a nice open palm. So it gets the air circulating around, and so you're less likely to over sweat and get blisters. Have a quick drink. And let's strap back in. Go to just row. And let's start a 2-minute cool down. In 3, 2, 1, go. Let go of the handle. I was too busy counting. I couldn't multitask. Couldn't count and hold the handle at the same time. Told you I shouldn't do maths. Maybe that's today's hashtag. Multitask. Or multitask fail. So remember, cool down is just about connecting with the legs and the arms. Don't worry about pace. Much like how we started the warm up. Just want to make sure you're connecting enough. You're just going through the motions. Everything's just needing to tense a little bit. Your muscles are just firing on a, oh, there we go. This is after me saying open palms and you'll be less sweaty. I'm obviously sweaty enough, but the handle fell out my arms, my hands, my fingers. Maybe I should just give up. I think I've already done handle slip on a previous video, so I must have some kind of form for doing this. Anyway, apart from that terrible lack of professionalism by letting go of the handle twice, I hope you enjoyed going through this one with me today. 75 minutes is a good, long, strong row. That can only be good for you. So make sure and get in touch. Either leave a comment on the YouTube video or on the podcast. There goes 2 minutes done for me. Subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the Facebook RowAlong group. Come say hi. I mean, I say it on nearly all videos, but I make these because you do these, you watch these. If I didn't know anyone was out there actually watching them and doing them, I'd stop making them. I'd just stick on Dead Mouse and row on my own instead. So I make them for you, but also for me, because it also gives me the structure and cardio training and stuff. I mean, the cardio I've got out of making these by talking the whole way through a 75-minute row is, I mean, second to none. You can't really put a price tag on that. So it really does help me. So I make these for you, but it's good to know you're watching. So any comments are always nice. Anyway, I am off to, oh crikey, yeah, I got rollerblades for Christmas. Here's a detour. And so I'm waiting to see if, I mean, me being like an old health and safety man, I'm waiting for my elbow pads and wrist guards and whatever. But I do think there'll be a 6-week break at one point after I've broken an elbow or something. But anyway, so I'm going to go and try and learn how to rollerblade. I'll let you know how I get on with that in future rows. But yeah, and as for the seat pad, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever come back to it. So you may see it on eBay, to be honest. I don't really see what I missed today by not having a seat pad. Like I say, I'll do a test. I'll do a speed test, see if there's any kind of difference, and I'll film it and I could do a comparison for my positions and things. But I don't really see, it certainly doesn't make any difference in terms of comfort from my backside. So yeah, anyway, right, sorry, I'm rambling. You stay safe, be well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.